Chapter 6. The New Hand and the Shadow of Silence. The sun barely slipped through the windows of the small apartment, and the city outside was still asleep, yet the home pulsed with quiet life. Leyen, the little girl, wore her pink dress adorned with butterflies and held her tiny bag as if it contained a precious treasure. Nora carried her gently in her left arm, a faint smile appearing only for the child, while her hazel eyes remained expressionless. After months of waiting, exercises, and measurements, she finally had her new prosthetic hand. The hand was masterfully crafted matte black with intricate details, as if it were a natural extension of her arm. She lifted her hands slowly in front of the mirror, moving each finger individually, feeling a strange mix of power, control, and loss. Yet she paid little attention to the rest of her burns. Adam was at school, and Leyen had gone to daycare. Nora sat for a moment in the kitchen, contemplating their daily routine and preparing for Adam's therapy session. The hospital, Adam sat in a small room, the therapist beginning the session as usual, asking simple questions and prompting the child to describe his feelings. Then came the question that turned Nora's world upside down. Therapist: sometimes adults say the world would have been better if none of this had happened. How do you feel about what happened to your family? The silence was heavy. Before Nora could move, Adam screamed. His cry pierced the room, his body shaking with an internal turmoil she hadn't seen in months of therapy. He lightly hurt himself, as if the pain he had hidden all year had suddenly erupted. In that moment, Nora froze. She didn't step back, didn't scream, and didn't wait for anyone. Only a horrifying awareness. Her brother was breaking down before her eyes, and she hadn't acted yet. She had to act now, and she couldn't stay still. 5 minutes of utter silence. She watched him, counted breaths, absorbed the magnitude of the collapse, feeling the full weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, heavy, but silent. Then she approached, slowly, without a sound, without any expression on her face. Her arms opened to embrace him. She held him firmly and began to soothe him in a low, calm voice, untranslatable into words, a pure silence reflecting strength and control, an absolute quiet that shielded him from complete breakdown. At the same time, Han Jiho entered the room carrying some boxes. He paused for a moment, glanced at Nora silent, and at the shattered Adam. He didn't smile, didn't move, and didn't intervene, as if he were merely a witness to the air. Then he quietly set the boxes down and left the room, closing the door behind him. He hadn't seen Nora's intervention, but felt the profound silence filling the space, a quiet understanding etched on his face without a word. Slowly, Adam began to calm. He let go of the screaming, the pain receded from his body as if Nora's embrace was a barrier of silence resisting his collapse. Finally, after minutes of tension, he became stable enough to return home. Leyen stayed at daycare all day, and Nora could not pick her up due to the length of the session. When she returned to the apartment that night, the little girl was asleep on one of the small beds. Nora carefully lifted her into her arms while Adam held his small school bag in his other hand, and together they ran toward the interior safety of their home. That night, Nora couldn't go to the cafe to work. There was no time for that. There was no place for her except to protect her siblings, holding them after a long day, silent as always, yet protective in ways she never had been before. The day had been exhausting, full of psychological pressures, yet it symbolized one undeniable truth. Even in silence and stillness, Nora knew how to face chaos and protect the remnants of her family with her silent quiet, without a smile, but with a heart that would not bend.